Hello everybody, welcome back. With trading coming soon to the game with the Alpha 3.0, I think it is going to be very important to take a closer look at our options, take a closer look at the cargo vessels we have available right now and those that will become available to us with a future update. Try to understand their capabilities and what they are capable of in order to figure out which one of these vessels, these cargo ships, is going to be the best for us and will fit our playstyle the most. Obviously, the cargo capacity of these cargo ships is very important, a very important stat when we are looking for the best in order to make a nice profit, but not the only important stat we should take a look at. It is logical that when comparing cargo vessels, you are going to compare vessels that have a similar, if not the same cargo capacity, but there are other details as well, smaller or bigger details that will help us take a much better decision based on what we want to achieve in the persistent universe and how we want to play in Star Citizen. So today I'm going to take a closer look at the Starfarer and the Hull C, two great cargo ships, two great cargo vessels that, although have a significant difference in cargo capacity, they are quite close one to each other, and there are some details I'm going to talk about and see if they can help the Starfarer become a nice alternative to the Hull C for a player that wants to make money out of trading. So on one hand we have the Hull C, a dedicated cargo ship with a great cargo capacity and a great representative of the Hull series ships that can help you become a successful trader and make a lot of money by carrying a lot of cargo around. And on the other hand we have the Starfarer, which in reality is a dedicated fuel transporter. It is a refuel platform mostly, primarily, but it can work as a cargo ship. Its secondary focus is cargo transportation. I really want to take a closer look at the Starfarer and see if its cargo capacity is good enough in order to be a nice alternative, a nice cargo ship alternative instead of the Hull C. Let's take a look at their stats, starting with the Hull C, which has a maximum crew of 3 persons, its length is at 105 meters, its mass is at 298,419 kilograms, and its cargo capacity, the stat we care the most today, at 4,608 units. A great cargo capacity that will help you achieve pretty much everything you want to achieve as a trader. The Starfarer now has a maximum crew of 7 persons, its length is at 100 meters, its mass is at 350,000 kilograms, and its cargo capacity is at 3,321 units. There is a significant difference, like I have mentioned already, in their cargo capacity, but there are some details that might help the Starfarer become a nice alternative and convince you to use it as your favorite cargo vessel. The Hull C is your typical Hull series cargo vessel that has one only goal in the game, and that is to carry cargo around the verse, carry cargo from point A to point B as fast as possible and help you make a nice profit out of trading, out of this activity. Lore-wise, it is considered as the most common transport ship in the verse, and for a very good reason, its cargo capacity and its modularity, its modular options. Like all the other Hull vessels, the Hull C consists of 3 parts: the man cab, where the crew spends most of its time, a drive unit where the main engines are, and a telescopic cargo spindle. The most important part of the Hull series vessels and what makes them unique, what makes them stand out as cargo vessels. The Hull C tries to maintain some of the speed and maneuverability of the smaller vessels of the Hull series, the A and B, while having a bigger interior with a crew quarters area and medical facilities like the D and the E, the bigger vessels of this series. We can say that it tries to offer the best of both worlds. It tries to find the sweet spot between the smaller and the bigger vessels of this series. The spindle is what makes this vessel unique. This is where the cargo is attached, and with its many arms they can carry a lot more cargo than other ships of similar size, and this is also giving them more modular options because they can carry not only any type of cargo container but also other add-ons, other modules that can be ship upgrades like shield generators, sensor suits, stealth cargo pods, gimbal turrets and other weapons, even snap fighters if there is enough space. so that it gives to owners of the Hull C a freedom to modify their vessel in any way they like and not only have a great cargo capacity and carry a lot of cargo around, but also increase their defensive weaponry, use a lot more of support equipment. The Starfarer now is primarily a fuel platform with cargo capabilities. It can collect spaceborne hydrogen and refine it up to a certain degree for use. At the same time, it can carry cargo on its interior for some extra money. So it can be used for transporting cargo from one place to another if you want to make some extra money. And there are other options as well. There is an upgrading package that can replace the fuel tanks it carries with the cargo chases that supports bulk goods transport. In that way, we can reach the maximum cargo capacity of the Starfarer, which is at 3,321 units. And although it seems that the Starfarer has a great cargo capacity that is very close to the Hull C, there is a certain catch. And that catch is that you have to remove the fuel tanks, you have to remove most of the equipment necessary to collect fuel and refine it in order to reach that cargo capacity. You have to remember that some equipment, fuel equipment, mostly support equipment for fuel collecting and refining, cannot be removed from the Starfarer, and this is why we cannot have more than 3,321 units of cargo capacity with the Starfarer. This is a quite important detail that you must take into consideration if you wish to turn your Starfarer into a cargo ship. In order to achieve the maximum cargo capacity, you will have to remove most of fuel collection and refining capabilities. But there are other options as well. It has a certain degree of modularity, so that means that you can split your Starfarer to operate as the fuel platform that its primary role is, but also having a decent cargo capacity. When you are using the Starfarer's default model, you can take advantage of the cargo hold on the interior and try to make some extra money out of trading while you are also collecting and selling fuel. But you can also split the interior to carry half fuel, half cargo. You can do pretty much anything you want with the cargo hold inside the Starfarer. And it is a quite nice tool for everyone that wants to have some diversity, to have a lot more options when playing Star Citizen. If you don't feel very safe having your cargo on the exterior, like on Hull C, you can use the Starfarer with its internal cargo hold. One thing you need to remember though is that this internal cargo hold is going to be significantly smaller than the maximum cargo capacity the Starfarer can achieve. It will be significantly smaller than the 3,300 units that the Starfarer can carry, and it will probably be at around 900-1,000 units. We don't really know right now the exact numbers for the internal cargo hold, and as soon as we get trading in 3.0, I hope we will have a very good idea. So using the interior cargo hold of the Starfarer will make you feel safer about your cargo and your future profit. But if you also go with the cargo chases and remove the external fuel tanks in order to replace them with some cargo containers, then I guess we have a similar situation with the Hull C, where you have cargo on the exterior and it's going to be vulnerable. I'm afraid though this is the only way to achieve the maximum cargo capacity for the Starfarer. Something else you need to remember is that the developers have mentioned that the spindle on the Hull C and generally the Hull series and the arms of the spindle are going to be a lot more safer and a lot more sturdier than what they look right now. A great difference between the Starfarer and the Hull C, and a difference that will make you choose the Starfarer if this is what you want to achieve, is the fact that the Starfarer can land on the surface of moons and planets fully loaded. Even if you are using the cargo chases, it will be possible to land on a moon or a planet with all of your cargo, trade fast and continue your journeys, something that cannot be done with the Hull C when it is fully loaded. You will have first to unload your cargo on orbital platforms, then land contracted. I have to say that this is a huge advantage of the Starfarer when we are talking about trading, because it will give you the freedom to reach pretty much every destination with ease. You will not have to wait on an orbital platform for your vessel to be unloaded like the hull C, but you can land directly to your destination, offload your cargo, make money, buy cargo and continue your journey. It will help you trade with a lot more locations and faster. In terms of speed and maneuverability, it seems that the hull C is going to be better and faster, and this is because it comes with 6 TR8 main engines, while the Starfarer comes with 3 TR4 main engines. Also, the Starfarer has a bigger mass, but of course this will depend on the cargo that you will be carrying with either the hull C or the Starfarer, and that will increase your mass and of course make you slower. The Starfarer is also better protected with 2 unmanned turrets and 3 manned turrets. In total it has 3 size 5 turrets and 2 size 4 turrets, while the hull C comes with 6 size 2 gimbal mounts and 2 size 1 gimbal mounts that can cover every side. By using their default loadout, it is obvious that the Starfarer has much better weaponry and can defend itself in a better way, but the hull C has a lot more modular options, as we have seen already, and it will be possible to carry other equipment as well, defensive weaponry if you want, or even snap fighter if you have enough space. Whether you are using the Starfarer or the hull C, it will be advisable to use some escort, to hire mercenaries to escort you, especially if you are carrying viable cargo that you don't want to risk. One thing these both vessels have in common is the ease of use. Despite the fact that they have a 3-person maximum crew for the hull C and 7-person crew for the Starfarer, they can be used with 1 or only 2 persons. So even if you are solo, if you are playing alone, you will be able to use your Starfarer or the hull C in order to make money. You will not need to have other NPC, to hire many NPC at least, or a lot of other players with you in order to achieve your goals and play in the way you like. And if you do choose to bring other players or NPC with you, then you can rest assured that the Starfarer has a quite decent, a quite nice crew quarters area where they can rest when they're not working. But also the hull C has a nice crew quarters area with medical facilities according to the description, but this is something, an area of the vessel, the interior of the man camp, that we have not seen yet. So although the Starfarer cannot reach the cargo capacity of the hull C, and in order to get closer we'll have to remove its fueling capabilities and refueling of course capabilities, it can be a quite nice alternative as a cargo ship instead of the hull C under certain circumstances. It gives you the freedom to perform 2 activities at the same time, or choose to be a trader, with a smaller cargo capacity for sure than the hull C, but with the freedom to reach more locations and trade a lot more easily. Although personally the hull C will be my #1 choice if I want to get the most out of this activity as a solo trader, always as a trader looking to get the best profit out in the verse. The Starfarer seems to be a quite nice alternative if there are specific requirements, if there is a certain location that you can reach easier with this vessel instead with the hull C. So it is a nice alternative, it is a nice cargo ship, even if you don't use the cargo chases, even if you only want to carry some cargo on the interior in order to make some extra money and supplement the Starfarer's main activity. So what do you think of these 2 vessels? What do you think of the Starfarer as a cargo ship? Would you prefer a Starfarer over hull C, later when the hull C will be available in the game of course? Or would you go with the hull C for the maximum profit? Thank you very much for joining me. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more. I am SquidofLove and I will see you around the verse. Bye bye.